Okay, I'm gonna make this short and to the point. There's a viral video on YouTube by a man named Jim Lill titled, "Where Does the Tone Come From in an Electric Guitar?" While it was an incredibly meticulous experiment with some interesting discoveries, it still doesn't explain why two guitars with the same specifications still sound different, both acoustically and amplified. And I'm gonna demonstrate just that, how two different guitars clearly have their own unique frequency profile from factors that are unrelated to pickup height, volume pot, string length, string type, and I'm going to be demonstrating both of these amplified and acoustically. I'm going to be A-Bing my 1988 American Fender Stratocaster with my custom shop Squier, as I call it, which is just a Squier that I completely gutted and rebuilt with American Fender tuners, a Fender Deluxe bridge, a bone nut, DiMarzio pickups, Seymour Duncan pots and input jack, American Fender 5-way switcher, solid core wiring, and last but not least, I, as you can see, completely hardtailed the tremolo system. Now, my 1988 Strat has all the same exact hardware as the Squier. The only difference between these two guitars is the type of wood and the tremolo bridge in the 88 Strat versus the hardtail bridge in the Squier. Both guitars have a brand new set of gauge 10 elixirs in standard E tuning, and I'll be using the same exact pickup, a DiMarzio Area 58 in the middle position for both guitars. All right, so here is the comparison, and we're gonna do the acoustic demo first, followed by the amplified demo. And just in case there was any doubt, I did measure the distance from the nut to where the E string begins, which is precisely 25 11/16 of an inch. And here is the custom shop Squier, which you can see is precisely 25 11/16, right where the E string starts. Alright, so as you can see, the E string is exactly at 4/16 of an inch above the pickup, measuring from the plastic casing of the pickup. And I'm just now realizing I'm actually going to have to measure this again once I wire up the DiMarzio pickup into the 88 Strat. So stay tuned for that. And after wiring this thing up into the 88 Strat, you can see the E string is right at 4/16 of an inch above the pickup, measuring from the plastic casing. And yeah, let's see how it sounds. So while we may never fully agree on what has the biggest influence on a guitar's tone, there's an undeniable reality that factors outside of whichever pickup you have significantly affect your guitar's tone. And if you listen closely, you'll notice that the difference you hear in my two guitars acoustically is consistent with the difference that you hear when amplified. The Squier clearly has this tighter, snappier sound with more bass and volume, while the 88 Strat is just thinner and a little bit less bassy with more highs and just basically less snappy. Now, I've had this 88 Strat for about 16 years and I always felt like it had a lot of clarity, a lot of presence, but I was never quite able to get the amount of low end from it that I want, no matter which pickup I use. And believe me, I've tried every pickup known to man. I've tried single coils, to P90s, to single space P90s, to single space humbuckers, to full space humbuckers. And no matter what I do, there's just a lack of bass response. I've even hardtailed this guitar. I've put a block of wood in there. I've tried hardtailing it. Even that was nothing compared to the Custom Shop Squier. So there's obviously something inside the body, inside the wood, that affects tone that cannot be changed entirely by pickup alone. And it's funny because no matter what I do to this Squier, it always sounds spanky and loud with gobs of Stevie Ray Vaughan tone inside of it. So one man might be able to prove that an air guitar versus a solid body guitar can sound the same with the same pickup, but that in itself does not disprove the effect of wood type or body shape on your guitar's tone. Someone even tried to say on a recent video of mine that a Les Paul and an ES335 are identical to one another after being amplified, and that the only difference is the pickup itself. And this person thinks just because pickups use a magnetic field to reproduce sound, that acoustic properties in your electric guitar are completely out of the equation. But here's a good way to put it. Your ears and your pickup are picking up the same sound through different means. So if you hear a unique sound in an electric guitar acoustically, guess what? So does your pickup. It's just detecting it magnetically instead of acoustically. So I do agree that pickups don't pick up acoustic energy, but I think what some people don't realize is that the subtle changes in your guitar body, which affect string resonance and frequencies, inseparably affect what your pickup is going to pick up. All I'm trying to do is educate guitarists, because this seems to be a very polarizing topic, to the extent that it's almost as bad as flat earthers versus round earthers. When it comes down to it, your guitar's tone can't be boiled down to one factor alone, because they all play an important role, and that is undeniable. Everyone's gonna believe whatever they wanna believe in spite of clear evidence, and there's nothing we can really do to change that, but you can't tell me that the only difference between these two guitars is the pickup. I have tried everything. I've swapped pickups, I have swapped necks, I have swapped hardware, and every time this guitar is spanky, bassy, and loud. And every single time this guitar is a little bit quieter, more presence, more treble, more clarity, less volume. That's all I really have to say. Like, share, and subscribe.